If the Miami Heat offer Bam Adebayo in a trade package going after Giannis Antetokounmpo, does that put them in the lead? What does the team look like with Giannis Antetokounmpo on the Miami Heat roster? Does it make them instant contenders? All that and more in another episode of Miami Heat Talk. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Now that we got that out the way, hit the intro.
That is enough said.
What's up, Heat Nation? Your boy Ernest here, back with another Miami Heat Talk video number 2 of the day. It's the first of the month, so I gotta spoil you guys. Now let's go on another Miami Heat Talk adventure, because in this episode, you guys, we're talking about Giannis Antetokounmpo. But the question that I'm asking about Giannis Antetokounmpo going into the NBA offseason, if the Miami Heat can come up with a package that could compete with a lot of these other teams, does it get the job done? Now, a little bit of history, you guys, before we move forward. As we know, the Milwaukee Bucks are in a very difficult situation this offseason. Damian Lillard, one of their big contract players, tore his Achilles. He won't be playing for the 2026 season. The Milwaukee Bucks made a lot of trades trying to compete with this current roster, putting Dame Lillard and Giannis Antetokounmpo together. It worked as far as a duo goes, but it didn't work as far as contending. They got bounced out of the first round the last 2 years. And with Giannis Antetokounmpo being 30 years old, being in his prime, he wants to maximize that. Now, Giannis did win the 2021 NBA championship with the Bucks. He has said in the past that he doesn't want to leave the team, but he's also said that if he cannot win in Milwaukee, he would be willing to go somewhere else. And then a recent report a few weeks ago from Shams Charania came out saying that Giannis Antetokounmpo would be willing to be traded. He's also going to meet with the Milwaukee Bucks to discuss his future with the team. So all signs are pointing to Giannis wanting out. Now here's the thing about that. I've said this before. Giannis Antetokounmpo is going to be the prettiest girl in the dance. There's going to be a lot of teams vying and going after Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're going to have teams like the Houston Rockets, who as a second seed in the Western Conference got bounced in the first round, showing that their inexperience cost them. So they can definitely use a player with Giannis's caliber. They also have the draft capital, the young assets to make this trade happen. Then you got the Dallas Mavericks, who have Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis, who just landed the first pick in the 2025 draft. I'm sure Milwaukee would be interested in that. You also have the San Antonio Spurs, who have the second pick in this draft with Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox on that team. So chances are Giannis is going to go to one of those teams. However, there has been interest from both sides in the past between the Miami Heat and Giannis Antetokounmpo. We know that Giannis wants to play in a big market. He has said that in the past. Big markets like New York, Florida. Giannis even came out recently on Twitter saying that he loves playing in Florida. Florida has no state taxes, which is big to a lot of these players. But Texas doesn't have it also. So that's where Dallas, Houston, and San Antonio have another one on Miami. So really what Miami has to focus on if they're trying to go for Giannis is putting a package together that can get the deal done. Now, I've said multiple times, you guys, that my belief is that Miami's going to be going after Kevin Durant, because since Giannis is going to be the prettiest girl in the room, a lot of teams are going to be going after him. So the Miami Heat can kind of finagle the way to get Kevin Durant. But it doesn't mean they don't have a shot in getting Giannis. They have a lot of tradable assets. And I've mentioned this a million times, but for those of you that haven't heard it, here you go. You have Terry Rozier, Duncan Robinson, who are both on expiring contracts. When a team is rebuilding or retooling, I don't care how bad they are, those contracts are beneficial because they get off your books after the year. You also have young players, young assets with low-paying contracts like Kel'el Ware, Jaime Jaquez, Pallel Larson, Nikola Jovic, You also have 3 tradable first-round draft picks that the Miami Heat can include. Why does that interest Milwaukee? Because Milwaukee does not have a first-round pick that they control until 2031. They've given up a lot of trades trying to build around this team. So draft capital is going to be something they're looking at big. Now, the Heat have the 20th pick in the draft. So it's not as enticing as Dallas and San Antonio. So you're going to have to make this deal more enticing. And that's why I am centering this around Bam Adebayo. As much as I love Bam Adebayo on this team, and as much as I don't want to see Bam Adebayo go, I want to see that the Miami Heat front office build a roster around Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero. In a perfect world, the Miami Heat would get Giannis to play next to Bam and Tyler. But it's not going to happen because of what I just mentioned. There's too many teams with so much better assets. So if the Miami Heat are going all in for a Giannis trade, you're going to have to include Bam Adebayo. Another reason why is because if you trade for Giannis and build a team around Bam and Giannis, even though on paper that looks great, it probably doesn't go good with today's NBA. A team with Giannis and Bam together in the 90s would be one of the best teams in the NBA. But today's NBA is all about pace and spacing, shooting, three-point shots. What was Giannis's best year? 2021, when he was surrounded by three-point shooting and perimeter defending. Guys like Jrue Holiday, Brook Lopez, Chris Middleton. It worked with Giannis. So if you're the Miami Heat and you're trying to build a team around Giannis, you need to have players that are like that. So Tyler Hero, right there is a great fit. Tyler Hero, who in my opinion will be a perfect number 2 complementary player next to Giannis Antetokounmpo. Giannis, you guys, this year averaged 30 points, 12 rebounds, 6.5 assists. You know what you get with Giannis. MVP caliber player. Tyler Hero can benefit off of that. Tyler Hero can provide the pacing and the spacing that Giannis needs. Also, a big reason why I'm willing to give up Bam Adebayo in a potential Giannis trade is because you have Kel'el Ware. If you're able to keep Kel'el Ware and put him next to Giannis, that's the perfect match. Giannis played perfectly next to Brook Lopez. And Kel'el Ware has a lot of those assets. He's a 7-foot defensive-minded player that can block the hell out of shots and that can hit the three-point shot, just like Brook Lopez. And Kel'el Ware is only going to be 20 years old. He's going to evolve and get even better. And if you're able to put Giannis next to them, keep Andrew Wiggins, who has championship experience, with Tyler Hero as your starting shooting guard, and then you have Davion Mitchell, the point guard, defensive-minded player that's similar to Jrue Holiday. You're building a team together around Giannis that works. A starting 5 with Kel'el Ware, Giannis, Andrew Wiggins, Tyler Hero, and Davion Mitchell, in my opinion, with this weak Eastern Conference, puts them in a better situation, has them contending. Giannis in any team, you guys, makes them instant contenders. And that's why this current Miami Heat team, if you just switch Bam and Giannis, whole different outcome. This team, this current team, won 37 games because of a 10-game losing streak. You switch Bam Adebayo and Giannis, and I think this Miami Heat team wins 50, 52 games, maybe even more. Now the question is, what's the package? What's the package? Because I said keeping Kel'el Ware on this team. One of the very best packages that the Heat can offer is including both Bam and Kel'el Ware for a potential trade. But now by doing that, you're selling Giannis on a team with just him and Tyler Hero. It could work. It can work. But if you're trading for Giannis, it's because you're trying to win now. So in my opinion, this doesn't really work if you trade Kel'el Ware. But one thing I think Milwaukee can really benefit from is having Nikola Jovic. Look at this trade package I'm thinking of, you guys. Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson for cap flexibility. You can throw in Nikola Jovic, Pallel Larson, and 3 future first-round draft picks, including our 20th pick. Is that a lot? Absolutely. But this is Giannis. For a player like Giannis, you give up the farm. Also, by making this trade, you are keeping yourself within cap flexibility and you will unlock your mid-level exception. So now you can have your starting lineup, the five I just mentioned earlier, Ware, Giannis, Wiggins, Tyler, Davion Mitchell. You keep Jaime Jaquez, who in my opinion, if given a bigger opportunity off the bench, I think can excel. You'll have your $14.1 million mid-level exception that you can go and get a player that can help this team. A player like Steven Adams, Nikolai Alexander Walker. I mean, there's so many players you'll be able to get with that mid-level exception. You'll have your $5.7 million biannual exception. You can bring back Kyle Anderson, Haywood Highsmith, Kevin Love, for the veteran presence. Bring back Alec Burks. You can build a team around Giannis and Tyler, and it could be a winning team. And a trade package involving Bam Adebayo, Duncan Robinson, Nikola Jovic, and Pallel Larson with 3 first-round draft picks, I think at least gets you in the door for a Giannis trade. And I think Milwaukee would be willing to do something like that because you're getting back Bam Adebayo, whose extension doesn't kick in until the 2026-27 season. But that can be your player that you can build on. Now you can have Nikola Jovic to build on with Pallel Larson. Duncan Robinson gets off your books after the 2026 season. Now you can start to create flexibility for yourself. Milwaukee is in rebuilding mode. So a player like Bam Adebayo to be their cornerstone player, I think works. But it's depending on what these other teams can offer. But the best, San Antonio, let's say they offer the second pick. I think Bam can compete with that. I think Bam Adebayo, as the main focused player involved in this trade, competes with a lot of these teams. Maybe not Dallas, if they're willing to give up Cooper Flag. But there's no indications that Dallas is willing to do that. Let's see what happens. I think two teams I'm really looking at as serious contenders for Giannis, San Antonio and Houston. Those, in my opinion, are the 2 teams that have the best shot in trading for Giannis. However, if you're able to put a package surrounding around Bam Adebayo, 3 first-round draft picks, young assets, and expiring contracts, that definitely gets you in the dance and gives you a shot to get this whale. So Heat Nation, let me know what you guys think. Would you be willing to trade Bam Adebayo if it meant getting Giannis Antetokounmpo? Do you think a team surrounding Kel'el Ware, Giannis, Wiggins, Tyler Hero, and Davion Mitchell as your starting lineup helps you contend in the East? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. And until next time, your boy Ernest out, and that is enough said.